This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Thank you for joining us on this Storm Team 6 Alert Day.
We are tracking the first major winter weather for you tonight in central Indiana.
Kevin Gregory joins us now with a look at our forecast. And hello, snow.
Hello, snow. You got a 2.3. Just got off the phone with the weather service. They have to trudge out there, and they take the measurement the old school way.
And we're at 2.3?
2.3.
So we know it's right.
In Indianapolis. Other spots with more than that. 1.8 in Yorktown. That's just to the west of Muncie. Eagle Creek, just over 2 inches. And the most I've seen so far from Carrie in Howard County, 3.5. Lafayette right at 3. And of course, these are works in progress, not snowfall totals yet. Road temperatures, we've been watching those all evening, as important as the air temperature. They're falling to freezing or colder. That would lead to changing road conditions for anything untreated. Snow will end in the eastern portion of the state, I think by 11. It'll be earlier than that in western Indiana. As far as additional snowfall, minimal western half of the state. If we see another inch squeezed out of the cold air that's moving in, it will be to the east. Snowfall letting up as you go west along Interstate 74, I-65, or I-70. This little strip of snow here from Greenfield to Greenwood down to Martinsville, lowering visibilities, and a quick burst of snow there. Temperature and the wind chill, the combination will be the story in the morning. We'll talk about record cold temperatures and when we will warm up.
Well, throughout the night, crews will be working to treat the roads.
RTV6's Megan Singh-Torum found out what they are doing to keep you safe and how you can monitor their progress from home.
We're on Illinois right now, right by the ramp to I-65, and the roads are starting to get a little bit slick. You can see traffic still seems to be moving along just fine right now, but we have noticed a little bit of that snow start to stick to the ground, especially in those grassy areas. And on cars here like this, you can see this snow has just started accumulating in the last hour or so. Now, this car we saw in the parking lot has already popped up their windshield wipers. That might be a good idea for you if you are parking outside tonight, as the temperatures continue to drop. Now, as for the roads, again, we do know that the city has 80 plows out at the moment. Those crews will continue to work through the night and into the morning rush hour to keep the roads safe for drivers. Working for you, Megan Singh-Torum, RTV6.
Thank you, Megan. And the crews that are on the roads right now will work until 11, then swap out with a fresh team that will work overnight into the morning. The city is also asking drivers to do their part to keep the roads safe.
When you're on the road with our plows, we ask that you keep about 3 car lengths between you and the plow driver. Their field of vision is restricted while they're up in that high truck, so we just ask that you drive with caution when you're driving with them.
The city of Indianapolis has a tool you can use to check the roads in your area, the Indy Snow Force Viewer. It shows real-time movements of DPW trucks, and you can see which areas have been treated. You can find a link at theindychannel.com.
RTV6 is making sure you're ready for more of what we're seeing today. Working for you, Kevin Gregory and our team of meteorologists will show you what to expect all winter.
We'll take a look at whether potholes will be a major issue and go behind the scenes of the decisions school districts need to make when the weather gets bad. You'll also find out what you can do with your kids during a last-minute snow day. Join us for an RTV6 news special, Weathering Winter in Indiana. That's tomorrow night at 8, only on RTV6.
Race fans say it hurts to see it, so RTV6 is working to find out why an iconic piece of Indianapolis Motor Speedway history is sitting forgotten in this overgrown lot.
During renovations, the wheel and wing logo that welcomed fans to the Speedway was replaced. Now the old sign is collecting dust in this lot just east of the track. Lifelong Speedway race fan Addison Henderson took this photo of the sign, saying he wants the track or the town to give it new life again.
Something like that can't be recreated. You know, it's the sign that was there. It was made for the Speedway, and if you let it go and deteriorate beyond a point where it could be restored, you've just lost that history.
Well, Addison and other race fans have suggested featuring the sign at a nearby roundabout or perhaps within the Speedway's museum. We reached out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A representative says the wing and wheel marquee is in a secure storage area and is designed to be kept outdoors. The Speedway says the sign will be preserved.
If there's something you want fixed and you want to raise awareness, share what's going on with RTV6. Connect with us at Working For You at RTV6.com, and you can message us on Facebook.
An update now to a Call 6 investigation into a Carmel home improvement company. The Attorney General's office won a lawsuit against Green Frog restoration operator James Twaddle. We first told you about Green Frog back in 2015 after customers told a Call 6 investigates they paid the roofer money but that roofer never finished the job or provided a refund. The state obtained a $1 million judgment for consumer restitution, damages, and civil penalties. A Hamilton County court says Twaddle is responsible for paying that judgment.
2 people are in the hospital after a shooting that police say began with an attempted home invasion. This happened around 9 this morning at a home on South Brewers Avenue. That's near Washington and South Post Road on the far east side. Police say they were told that at least 2 women were trying to break into the home and that the homeowner fired gunshots through the window at them. The 2 women were taken to a hospital with gunshot wounds on their arms. They are expected to be okay. Right now, officers believe the 2 shooting victims were involved in a domestic situation with the homeowner.
Well, today's weather led to a change of plans, but Indianapolis still came together to honor Veterans Day.
The Veterans Day Council of Indianapolis had to cancel its parade over safety concerns with rain and falling temps. The service was moved inside from the Indiana War Memorial, but it did not stop the Indiana National Guard's 38th Division Band from playing and from the rest of those gathered to continue to celebrate veterans.
Coming up this half hour, lowering drug costs is a priority most Americans can get behind. But how those costs are forcing families to make some tough decisions, though.
Plus, a little bit later, what you need to know to be on guard against this multi-state scam targeting service members when the news continues on RTV6. Right now on RTV6, prescription drug prices are a top election issue.
Voters from both parties agree that lowering prices should be a top priority for lawmakers.
Chloe Nordquist found out skyrocketing costs for life-saving drugs can lead to tough choices.
When I was diagnosed in 1972, insulin cost about $1 a bottle. Because there I am with a bottle of insulin and a syringe.
The price tag now, about $350. Insulin helps diabetics manage their blood sugar.
So this is my current blood sugar. My name is Gail DeVore. I have had type 1 diabetes for almost 48 years.
Her childhood doctor told her she wouldn't live past 40. She recently turned 59. Diabetics often have to buy multiple bottles of insulin at a time. For someone with a high deductible prescription plan, that comes right out of their pocket.
To afford that, which just happens to be more than my own mortgage, it's unreachable for some families.
The CDC estimates around 30 million people in America have diabetes, almost 10% of the population. The national price of insulin increased from around $340 in 2012 to $666 in 2016.
It's the most expensive part of our lives. My name's Michelle Fenner.
Her 17-year-old son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 9 years ago.
It impacts our ability to save for retirement. We've had to pull money out of savings.
Insulin isn't the only medication with a rising price tag. Michelle was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease just a year ago. Her medication alone can cost over $2,000 a month.
As I'm trying to keep my son alive and pay for all his costs, am I going to be able to afford my medication?
Overall, drug prices have continued to increase. My name is Gina Moore. I'm currently the president of Colorado Pharmacist Society. We're all touched personally by the cost of medications. My husband, as an example, was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease a couple months ago.
Individual spending on prescription medication increased from around $251 billion in 2012 to $341 billion in 2016.
It's not necessarily a new problem, but it's really one that has been magnified over the course of the last decade.
Income for pharmacies from retail prescription drugs went up from nearly $31 billion in 2012 to $77 billion in 2016.
Don't hesitate to ask your pharmacist if they know of less expensive alternatives.
But for diabetics, there are no alternative drugs.
It's the simple little tiny hormone that every body should make. And without it, we die.
How can you plan your life when you literally have no idea how much something is going to cost?
I'm Chloe Nordquist.
Coming up, RTV6 is working for you, including the veterans in your life, the scam you need to watch out for, and the ways to get help. Addressing mental health. All that's ahead. Kevin.
And showing you a little burst of snow here south and east of Indy from Franklin up to Greenfield. That'll lower visibility. When the snow stops and how cold it will be coming up.
Official tire retailer of the Indianapolis Colts.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
A warning, if you're looking to give back on this Veterans Day, scammers are waiting to take advantage of those who are trying to do good.
So one vet is spreading the word about a multi-state scam targeting former military members.
Our Jade Jarvis has his story and a warning.
These types of scams run the gamut, and scammers will try every trick in the book to make money off the kindness of strangers. So the best defense is to do your research. One of those crooks tried to fool Joe Keogh, calling him out of the blue one day.
They were asking for cash or vehicles for disabled veterans.
It's a noble cause, but Keogh, an Air Force veteran who also worked at the Geauga County Sheriff's Office for 30 years, says something felt off. So he looked a little deeper and realized the whole thing was bogus.
So on the second call, I kind of strung them along a little bit and tried to get a little more information. And as a result of that, I was able to put together a statement of facts and send it to the State Attorney General's office.
Turns out the person who called Keogh was running the same robocall scheme in several other states and pocketed hundreds of thousands of dollars in the process. Because of reports filed by Keogh and others, the Federal Trade Commission was able to find the man and hold him accountable for his crimes. Even though he's off the streets, there are many more to take his place, and they're likely to strike around Veterans Day.
You'll start to see more solicitations from veterans organizations, whether it is on social media, on television, through your email, anywhere online.
Before you donate, go to the BBB website or give.org to research the charity.
That's important to you, and you want your donation to be tax deductible. The IRS, different sites can tell you if it is.
And if you find something feels fishy, don't just keep it to yourself.
Report it. It may take a while. You know, like in my case, I kind of forgot about it and was really pleased to get a call, many months later.
And you want to keep an eye out for the veterans in your life. And if you think there's something fishy going on, you can file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission or the Better Business Bureau.
And Kevin Gregory joins us now on a Storm Team 6 alert day. It's still a little wet outside.
Yeah, because temperatures are still close to freezing in most locations. So at this point it'll turn very crunchy by 11 o'clock tonight, first thing in the morning. That leads to some ice. Between shows, I'm on a mission to build an RTV6 snowman.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'll be out there in the front yard
I'll start
doing
thinking of a name.
Olaf, I bet. 2.3, that's the total so far. I shouldn't say total, that's our running kind of measurement. 2.3 inches of snow for Indianapolis. There are already 4 school delays for tomorrow, 2-hour delays. You can use the RTV6 app or go to theindychannel.com to see what I'm sure will be at least a growing list for outlying communities. And of course, Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. There's our temperature, slow to change while the humidity is so high. Once the precip stops by 10 or 11 in the metro area, then we'll see the temperature trend start to fall off a little more quickly. You can see the back edge from Terre Haute to Crawfordsville to Kokomo, other than some flurries. The persistent light snow, any accumulating snow, is really off to the east from, say, Spencer to Indianapolis to Muncie southeast, the best chance for any light additional accumulations. Certainly you'll see some visibility changes, Franklin to Shelbyville on up toward I-70 between Newcastle and Greenfield. Our temperatures, the other side of the story, 20 in Chicago. They've had several inches of snow today, 22 in Champaign, Indianapolis at 29. It's all thanks to this falling temperatures on a cold, strong northwest wind. That will put our temperatures at a record-tying 14 tomorrow morning. The wind chill values will be anywhere from 0 to 5 below in spots, but there's your temperature trend. The snow ends. Skies will gradually clear by morning. There's our landing spot in Indianapolis, 14, but to the north and west, temperatures pushing single-digit levels, 10 in Lafayette, 12 in Peru. And as I mentioned, these are the wind chills that we expect, 0 to 5 below. Kids will need everything they own to stay warm tomorrow morning. And again, check the RTV6 app or tune in first thing in the morning for a growing list of delays. Below freezing tomorrow, below freezing barely as we get to Wednesday. Then we finally come above freezing on Thursday for an afternoon high of 38. Lots of sunshine to go with breezy, cold conditions tomorrow. We stay in the mid-20s. There's that strong northwest wind, and that will make it feel like it's in the teens all day long despite the sunshine. Looking for some warmth, we find a little. Friday, dry and 40. Temperatures Saturday and Sunday warming up, 47 Sunday, 47 on Monday. This appears to be what's happening right now, the big event of the next 7 days, except for what happens on the thermometer tomorrow morning and Wednesday.
We're getting out of the way. All right, get to that snowman.
All right.
Well, part of the process of going from serving in the military to being a veteran is working through the emotional tolls of serving.
RTV6's Meredith Barrick joins us with a deeper look at how vets take on their mental health.
On this Veterans Day, a lot of people are working hard on an issue that thankfully is getting a lot more attention these days, and that is the mental health of our service members. Emma Eckert is an assistant professor at the University of Indianapolis. She specializes in mental health for military members. Emma, thank you so much for joining me. This topic is so important, and I feel like should be talked about on a daily basis and not just on days like today. So what are you doing at the university to grow the awareness of this major issue?
Sure. So at the University of Indianapolis, we have a counseling department where we're training graduate students to be licensed mental health counselors in our state. So they can work with veterans. They can work with veterans who maybe are suffering from PTSD, those who have suicidal thoughts, and family members of veterans. It's a big transition when veterans leave and then also when they come back home. So working with all of those issues, we also have an art therapy program at the university, and our art therapists do some amazing things with veterans. This past summer, they did an art intervention in which they had a mask that they painted. And so they painted on the outside the face of the veteran. It was showing on the outside, but then also the inside. What is the face that's actually on the inside? A lot of times military veterans, you know, the culture raises them, be strong, put up a strong front, be courageous, show that on the outside. But on the inside, there may be fear, there may be worry, depression.
A lot of emotions.
Sure. So really just talking through those differences and helping veterans think through those and become aware of those feelings on the inside.
Right. Now, I think more than ever, we are seeing veterans who are in need of help reaching out for it and sitting down with someone and talking about it. But there are still a lot of servicemen and women who aren't. What would your message be to them?
Yeah, so really to normalize, take away the stigma against mental health, to know that there are confidential crisis lines the VA has set up that you can call. They will not ask any confidential information. And really for those who are around military members or veterans that you feel like may be suffering, know that you may specifically have to reach out and ask them if they need help. They won't always seek help. That's considered a sign of weakness. So reach out to them, set them up with resources, maybe take them to a resource that they need.
And finally, if someone does see a family member or if there is a veteran out there who feels like they are in need of help right now, what is the best thing to do right away?
Yeah, definitely if they are in a crisis state, have somebody stay with them, and then I would call 911. But otherwise, there are many services. Go to the VA, go to a community mental health center. There's a suicide hotline, 211, that individuals can call. There's veterans crisis lines that you can find online. There's also veteran chat lines. So there's lots of resources out there and abundant help for them.
Yeah, a lot of people out there wanting to make life as good as possible for these folks and these folks who have served our country, and we thank them. Emma, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you. Thanks.
World War II submarine that's been missing for 75 years has been found off the coast of Japan. A group that searches for sunken World War II vessels solved the mystery of the USS Greyback. Last year, a researcher found the Navy had originally made an error in translating the Japanese war records of where the submarine had likely sunk. All this time, the Navy's historical records listed an incorrect longitude. Armed with the new information, remotely operated vehicles, and advanced imaging technology, a team finally found the Greyback. It was one of the most successful submarines in the war, sinking 14 enemy ships.
What a discovery there. Well, still ahead here on RTV6, this iconic country singer is changing the music industry from the inside out.
We hear from Carrie Underwood on her efforts to bring more females into the business.
Plans from CareSource. Enroll by December 15th.
This is RTV6. Carrie Underwood says women are stepping up to make sure there is gender equality in music.
We are just 48 hours away from country music's biggest night right here on RTV6. And tonight, we're hearing from host Underwood, a country icon, on what it means to her to use her power for good in the music industry.
As Wednesday night's host of the CMA Awards, she is pushing a female-centric show, saying she feels it is an important time to do so as more women in music are hiring more female staff.
I mean, I feel like right now, this year in country music, a lot of us have decided to put our money where our mouth is, so to speak. And I feel like we've been talking about needing more of a presence of women in country music. I feel like we all decided well, we're just going to have to do it ourselves. So let's do this.
Let's do this. The big night all kicks off at 7:30 on the red carpet with the big show starting at 8. Carrie Underwood is co-hosting along with Reba McEntire. The CMA Awards are live Wednesday right here on RTV6.
It's going to be a good show. Tune in for that.
The snow show is underway right now. As far as visibility, it's starting to improve to the north and west. Temperatures down to 24, as you can see in Lafayette. There's the clearing line, Terre Haute to Crawfordsville to Kokomo. Be patient. Snow ends by 11.
All right, and we'll see you back here at 11.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good evening. Stay warm.